You can own a beautiful private island in your preferred corner of the world's oceans for just a few $1,000,000. But before you sign that check, have you considered what the real cost of owning a multi-million-dollar private island is? Sure, you've told your friends about all the ideas you've had for the island, like the infrastructure you're planning to add to make the island a true paradise, the logistics of travel to and from your island, and all the complexities intricately tied into owning a private island. But all this is gonna cost you, and perhaps this thought has crossed your mind. What will my final cost be for this luxurious private island? Don't worry, because we've meticulously compiled all of the research to help you answer this question. Stay tuned to the end to understand the one-off and ongoing costs involved in owning your own multi-million-dollar private island. The sales price, $1 million plus. Now, the first thing to assess when buying your own private island is the sales price. After all, without the island, your ideas won't become reality. So for an island that is developed, we're looking at a price above $1 million. If this is a blow to your budget, don't worry. You can still find an undeveloped or smaller islands. But if you are rocking to the tune of a budget from several $1,000,000 or even tens of millions, you can expect to find a decent island with essential amenities like water, electricity, and buildings, or even a resort already developed, saving you time and expenses in the future. Administrative fees, at least 1 to 2% of the sales price. In addition to the sales price, you may have to pay additional fees like sales tax, VAT, and stamp duty imposed during the purchase. The amount you pay will depend on the location of the island and the national laws governing property sales there. You'll also have legal or brokerage fees to pay if you used a real estate agent or attorney during the process. This will usually be about 1 to 2% of the sales price. Unfortunately, these administrative costs don't end with your purchase. You might still have to pay annual property taxes for your island. If you're using your multi-million-dollar private island for commercial activities, you must also pay the required taxes to the government on any income you generate. Development costs, $1.5 million plus, one-off. You have two options when buying a private island: purchasing a ready-made, also called a turnkey, island with all the facilities and amenities already in place, or buying plain land with no bells and whistles. Turnkey private islands have development costs factored into sales prices, but you're getting a blank canvas to work with for non-developed islands. While that means you can tailor it to your liking, you'll also be responsible for all the associated development costs. The development costs will vary depending on what improvements you intend to make on your island. If you're building a vacation home, the development costs will be lower than those of creating a private island resort. With that in mind, here's a brief breakdown of the development costs for a multi-million-dollar private island. First, you need the proper permits before you begin your project. Most islands have zoning restrictions that determine the type of infrastructure and developments you can make. Others are protected areas where minimal development is allowed. Therefore, before you can start any construction, you'll need a permit from the local government. You must also pay design and architectural experts to plan your vision for your private island. Don't skip on working with an architect, especially when developing your multi-million-dollar private island for commercial or tourist purposes. The architectural and design phase will set you back at a few $100,000. Now you have the architectural plan and the relevant permits. It's time for the construction itself. This is perhaps the most expensive part of developing your island. Construction costs will cover everything from labor and materials required to bring your island vision to life. When choosing your materials, invest in those resistant to the harsh conditions present on many islands. The salty water, humidity, storms, and hurricanes common on most islands will influence the types of materials you use. Your island's development doesn't stop with the building. You must invest in a source of fresh water, a power source, a sewage disposal system, satellite internet, and a garbage disposal system. If you're lucky, your island already has these basic amenities. But if it doesn't, be ready to spend several hundreds of thousands of dollars to install them. While developing your island, you should factor in the cost of getting to and from the island. This could mean investing in a boat and docking facilities for that boat. If you're feeling more adventurous, you can build an airstrip within your island to make it that much more accessible. Of course, this will add to your construction bill. Ultimately, the total amount you pay to develop your island will depend on how much development you're doing. If you're going all out, expect to spend anywhere from $1.5 million for simple developments and as much as $50 million for a private island resort. Maintenance costs, $100,000 plus per year. So now your private island is up and running. It's all you imagined and more. We still have some things to do before all our ducks are in a row. You have to maintain your new private island so your investment doesn't go to waste. Enter the maintenance costs. Islands in the ocean have one significant challenge. They are exposed to the humidity, temperature, and salty ocean water. These corrosive factors mean faster deterioration of your island property, mandating the need for regular maintenance and adding to the cost of owning your private island. Some of the maintenance needed for your private island includes landscaping, cleaning, general repairs, and renovations. Depending on the size of your island and the amenities needing maintenance, these costs can quickly rack up to hundreds of thousands of dollars monthly. If you're living away from your private island, you may need to invest in a full-time staff to care for your island while you're away. This further increases your maintenance costs. Even if you're living on the island, you will likely need to hire some extra hands on a regular basis to help you maintain the private island. Utility costs, $10,000 plus. While living on your multi-million-dollar private island, you will incur several costs towards your utilities. The biggest will be energy. Most islands are powered by alternative energy sources like solar and wind. But if your island is not too remote, you could have access to electricity. You can expect an energy bill running up to $10,000 or more, depending on the size of the island and the energy the amenities consume. In addition to energy, you'll incur water, heating, and cooling costs. Unless you're committed to a full off-grid experience, you must also account for internet and communication costs. You'll probably need a satellite connection the further away from the mainland your island is. Insurance, starting at $10,000 annually, depending on the type of coverage. Owning your very own private island comes with the fun of having a private retreat that can create opportunities to experience many adventurous and relaxing activities. But it also comes with the not-so-fun responsibilities of safeguarding your investment. Considering how much you've invested into your multi-million-dollar private island, having insurance to protect your investment is a financially sound decision that you don't want to forget. Get insurance coverage in case your property is damaged and liability insurance in case you or another person is injured while on the island. Insuring your island is critical when you're running a commercial operation, since you don't want any liability issues, especially if you have to pay for them out of pocket. Your insurance policy is going to cost several $1,000s to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how comprehensive the coverage is. But don't forget that what you spend today will pay you handsomely in the future. Living expenses, about $300 for groceries for a single adult per month. Some big costs like a water desalination project or other development costs are important to plan. It would also be wise to plan your living expenses as well. For starters, you can expect to spend around $300 monthly on simple groceries, depending on where your private island is located. In addition to these living expenses, consider how often you entertain and to what extent, the experiences you want available, recreation activity expenses, and the size of your household. So there you have it, the complete rundown of what it costs to own a multi-million-dollar private island. The exact cost will vary based on whether you're using your private island for commercial or personal purposes, but these are important to consider when planning your finances. Does the cost align with what you'd imagined? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. Until the next one.